Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. You hinted at it in the conversation in terms of illegal fishing, and the second image you sent through is, I'm assuming it's a Chinese boat of fishermen. It's not a very big boat. It's it's considerably.
This one is a gillnet boat, a mainland gillnet boat that is coming into Hong Kong waters. So, in that previous photo you mentioned about the Zodiac there, that's Seawolf. That's my small rib that we have, rigid inflatable boat. And with that gets us out onto the waters. So obviously with COVID-19, we're not getting to travel. We're not getting to go to around the region and do stuff, but we still have so much that we can do at home. So, Seawolf allows us to get out there, do our recordings for the acoustics, get to these remote locations. But one of the big things we're working on at the moment is illegal fishing in Hong Kong. So we're getting boats that are coming across the border from the mainland and basically poaching in Hong Kong waters. And we've been identifying vessels that have been coming in, building a database of images and evidence, and working together with the AFCD, the Agricultural Fisheries Conservation Department, and also the Marine Police. So we've been working closely with both those. The illegal fishing falls under the remit of AFCD. Yeah. So they're the ones who are supposed to be, prosecuting or making arrests and things like that. But sometimes, obviously these fishermen don't want to be stopped. And they need to call in the Marine Police, who have the assets available. They have the fast boats. They have the guns for starters. So if they do need to do boardings, they can do boardings quite safely. Yeah. We called one in last week, and the Marine Police were fantastic. I mean, they literally sent the charge of the Light Brigade. We had 3 fast interceptor boats that are, they'll do 50, 60 knots. Oh, wow. With a full-arm boarding team. And they pursued this Chinese vessel that had come across the border. They pursued it into Chinese waters. Oh, wow. Across the border. So they also got permission from Guangzhou for hot pursuit, and they brought the boat back and they prosecuted it. And
great. So
at the moment, I believe it's actually today, the fishermen are in court.
Wow. So the big questions that pop up in my mind are, one, are you using some of the experience that you gained with Sea Shepherd out on the water? I mean, like the.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was doing a lot of this activism, as you know, before I joined Sea Shepherd, and that's why, as a photographer, the image is so powerful and so useful. So, what I'm using when I go out on the boat at the moment is drones. I am big into drones with my work. They allow me I can see a boat maybe 2-3 kilometers away before they even notice me. Yeah. We stop Seawolf, and I launch a small drone from there, from a Mavic. And I fly the 2 kilometers over, and I'll be above them filming them without them even knowing. I can zoom in on them, and I can actually get them, and that's all geolocation. Wow. So we've got time, date, we've got the evidence. That's great. We've got them actually fishing illegally. And even the AFCD were just saying, how do you get this? Because whenever we go, we don't get to film them. Right. Well, it's because you come in a boat that's so noisy, both the Marine Police and the AFCD launchers, you can hear from almost 5 kilometers away. Yeah. So the fishermen just drop the nets in the water with a float and just go back across the border and wait. And it's really quite frustrating. So what's happening now is we're starting to evolve, and I'm more like the forward operating, the forward observer. I can see them, I can get all the footage and the evidence and that, and then I call in the Marine Police and they'll come in and if they needed my evidence, I could provide it.
What's their attitude to you? Like, do they think like, oh, great, this guy again, or are they genuinely appreciative? Are they like, what is when you're talking to them? How do they?
Who the fishermen or the authorities? The fishermen don't like me for some reason. AFCD have been really, really appreciative, really supportive. Whenever I'm sending stuff into them, they're just, they add it to their database. And the guys at AFCD are brilliant. I mean, they've really been great.
Yeah.
Marine Police, I was invited to the headquarters to give a full briefing and presentation on illegal fishing.
Wicked.
So I went and saw all the top brass and gave a full presentation of, this is what I've seen. And obviously it's not your remit to do any of this, but if AFCD asks, here's what we've got.
Right.
And then Marine Police said, yeah, absolutely, this is great, brilliant work. Let's do something on this. So they really have cranked down. You may have seen in the media, there's been posts coming out, and there's quite a few more illegal fishing busts, which is great. And that's, that's testament to both agencies actually working together and working hard.
Great. One of the things I see, or if I just realized I haven't done, is kind of explain what the photo is. So essentially, it's a you'd say a 30-foot boat, I guess, Chinese vessel.
So that boat is so we had several. We had a fleet of what they call snake net boats, and they were coming from further west down the coast, a couple of 100 kilometers down, and they come up and they drop this, like, it's almost like a lobster pot, but like a square concertina. And they run, it's like a box that they join together 30-foot segments, and they make maybe 2 or 3 kilometers, and they lie on the seafloor. Those were the snake net boats. We documented about 4 that we saw regularly. We gave it to AFCD. They gave it to the mainland authorities, and suddenly now we don't see those boats anymore. So I don't know what happened with those.
Right.
The boat in the picture that you're referring to is what we call a gill net boat. They use the monofilament gill nets. And they're dropping these, obviously at the moment, because of COVID, the high traffic of Macau high-speed ferries that were going down through the channel south of Lantau has stopped. So we have no high-speed traffic, which is great news for the dolphins. And we're seeing all these dolphins coming back to that area and utilizing that area. But the problem is we've got all these illegal fishing boats now coming in and setting these walls of death, as I call them. I mean, gill nets are just invisible. And obviously for a marine mammal getting caught in one of these, they need to breathe air. And if they get caught in one, they are, it's game over. So that's why I'm really focusing on these gill net boats. We've identified at least 14 of them and documented them. And, they're basically mainland fishermen are coming into our waters because in 2012, we stopped trawling. So we used to have these big boats, big industrial boats with their big long arms out the side, dragging the seafloor up and destroying the entire ecosystem. And that was banned in Hong Kong waters. So what we've seen now is fish life exploding back and really bouncing back. And nature will come back very quickly if we just give it a chance. And obviously because of that, we've got loads of fish. Right. And across the border, they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
So the fishermen are now coming in and poaching.
Right. So in the photo has essentially like 1/3 of the image is the boat. On the boat, there are like 3 guys wearing like overalls, dragging in the fish nets. The sky is kind of overcast. There's like a low ceiling, low cloud. Not too far, maybe 1 or 2 kilometers in the background, you could see a little bit of land, some islands, I guess.
Yeah, that's South Lantau.
Oh, that is South Lantau, okay. And so how did you get this close for this image?
So, I've got very close. I mean, I've got close enough to actually almost touch them sometimes. So what I do is I'll fly the drone in, I'll get the evidence I need, and then I'll come in with the boat and we'll come right up next to them. And I literally come alongside with a big 7200 lens and I'm photographing them, and I'm almost getting portrait face photos.
Which you need.
Now, what I used to do, because I didn't want to waste police time, I mean, calling the police every time, and what was happening was they would just run for the border. So I decided that, and it was kind of fun at the beginning. I got a friend of mine who's an actress, Chinese actress, and I asked her to record me an audio message that I broadcast over a loudspeaker. And the message was basically in Mandarin, and it was, you are fishing illegally in Hong Kong waters. We are documenting your activities and we'll pass to the authorities.
Oh,
Please
good.
leave immediately. Well, I was going out at night, so I'd be out in the middle of the ocean at night, lights off, and I'd be sitting there floating. And then a trawler, the big trawlers would come in, and I would stalk them and make sure they were well and truly inside Hong Kong waters. Sometimes they were in as close as Shek Pik prison, which is right
up
good,
to the
good 8 or 9 kilometers inside. And I would sneak up and then get really close. And then what I would do, because the ocean's so quiet out there at night, I would turn on this broadcast and put on a big spotlight. So all they would see is a massive spotlight come on, this message come out in like a very authoritarian voice. And you've never seen people run so quick. They couldn't get the nets in fast enough. They run across the border. And it was effective to get them out and also to disrupt the fishing, because time is money. So long as your nets are not in the water, you're not making money. And I was doing this regularly, and then I started even doing it in the daytime off of Tai O on the west coast of Lantau. And the same effect. I would turn up, whether it was with the message or just with the cameras. They knew they were in the wrong, and they knew I'd probably already called the authorities and they're on the way. So they would just run for the borders. That's why we could get so close. I have had a couple throw things at me. We had one try to run me over when we were out there. But the gillnet boats, like in that picture, I'm not worried about. The trawlers, even the police told me to back off, which I have, and I'm not touching the trawlers anymore.
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, they just need to nudge you, and you're gone.
The trawlers are an entity of their own, and I will leave that with the authorities to deal with. They are very big, and they are also, a lot of them are Hong Kong based.
Well, okay.
They're not mainland.
Right.
So.
Oh, dude, so sobering. And speaking of sobering, let's move on to the next image, which is just heartbreaking. So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.